multiple of the things you're describing, it just sounds very manipulative and coercive in the way that they were kind of approaching you. I mean, even down to kind of you sort of, communicating that you didn't necessarily want to go to the study. You had other things going on, and it sounds like maybe they kind of kept pressuring you. And then again, it sounds like you were kind of expressing that you weren't necessarily comfortable with joining, and rather than kind of respecting that, saying that's fine, like that, yeah, just take your time and think about here's some information about us, go and think through it, search it out. It wasn't like that at all. It's like just pressure and fear, and like, hey, if you don't do this tonight, you might die in an earthquake. I mean, how manipulative, just from the very, very start, that sounds like.
And like looking back on it, like I see that now, but at the time, like I was just like, oh, they're just trying to, save my soul or whatever. And like that's what I thought for a long time. And then looking back, I was just like, yeah, that's not how you would get someone, I feel like, to like join anything, is like by being like manipulative. And I feel like
pushy,
very pushy. And it just wasn't something that I was necessarily ready for, but I did it anyway because, I was eventually just started to feel scared. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to go to hell. And, what if the earthquake does come or whatever disaster. And like that's another thing that they do is they push disasters a lot to make you want to get the Passover so that you can be protected. And so, yeah, that's why I was like, okay. Yeah, just looking back on a lot of things, I really wish that I would have, been a lot more. I was really young at the time, and I just wish that I would have been a little bit more. I just would have been a little bit more able to do my research on it. And they don't encourage you to do that anyway. They don't encourage you to do your research or look things up online, and they actually tell you not to do that. But that's exactly what you should do if you want to know what you're getting yourself into, because I definitely didn't know what I was getting myself into. And, for a long time, I thought that I was in the truth. I thought I believed everything. I didn't doubt, that, God the Mother was here and that Ahnsahnghong, came a second time. I really believed that they were God. And so, and then just when I stopped going and I found your videos and I started to, see the experience of the other members. And then I actually watched this video on gaslighting, and it just reminded me of, I'm not saying that this is what they're doing, but it just reminded me of like kind of like their approach and like how they make you feel so afraid, like to go to hell. And and I was like, dude, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to associate anymore. Like I wasn't happy, and that was enough for me to just be done.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to say that that's what they were doing in terms of gaslighting, but I'll definitely say that's exactly what they do. If you express a genuine, legitimate question or concern, I mean, a doubt, something that doesn't make sense, it sounds like you're kind of even expressing that there toward the end. A big part of your hindrance from leaving was just you didn't want to be that person who was doubting, who had the seed of doubt, who had weak faith and all that. And so that's kind of what they will do when people have honest, legitimate questions that deserve a thoughtful and, meaningful response. But very often, rather than actually giving, that sort of response to these legitimate questions, they will try to kind of flip it around and make it feel as if there's something wrong with you for even asking, and make it as if, gaslighting's all about making you question your own sanity or your own capacity to, think correctly about the situation. And so yeah, I think that's definitely what they are doing. And I'm glad that you were able to, there at the end to kind of start looking at some of these things.